Good morning, everyone. So I'm Leslie, and I am making this video at home today. I also work in the studio space here in Pittsburgh. So our video is a morning warm-up. It can also be done in the evening, but I particularly like it on cold winter mornings when your body feels sluggish, and it's maybe a little more challenging to get circulation and blood flow into certain parts of your body. So the sequence I'm going to take you through is mostly gentle mobilizers and some grounding work for our whole body, stability, and then gentle mobility. So just remind yourself, please, that no movements to really hurt you. A lot of these are very natural things, movement-wise. But if you come across something that does not feel right, then please don't force it or push through. Just ask a question, ask us for help. You can always write to the studio through messages or use our website for an email. Okay, the sequence is about 20 minutes or so, give or take a few. And so you can always watch it. You could pause the movement, go back through and just work on certain sections of it. But I like how this all goes together because it's comprised of a lot of the preliminary work that we use in the Pilates method. And then I'm throwing in bits and pieces of just healthy, good movement. Okay. So I'm going to have you start with a lying place. Okay, use your hands as you go back so that you can traction yourself into the floor a little bit. We want to kind of learn to get into the ground in a sequential way, if at all possible. But sometimes that's hard for people's hands, wrists, elbows, neck, shoulders, right? Sometimes shoulders, really tight motion. So I'm going to have you go back through your hips and then just get through middle on the floor if you can for me. And then your two shoulder blades. I like to hold my head up a little bit so I can bring my shoulder blades to the mat first, and I can really try to find those two wing blades. And then looking up through your eyes, guide your head back so that you create a long, healthy neck column. And we're going to rest our arms comfortably on our body. Okay? Your legs can be bent if you like. It's really not about a perfect position, but I'm going to have you take a deep, full breath. And then when you exhale, open out your mouth, relax your throat and jaw a bit, and practice just breathing well. A really good inhale. Body moving, abdominals responding, ribs moving. And exhaling from your whole body. So let's just do it a couple of times. When our body is chilly and it needs to heat up, we want to use the support of our breath for our internal muscles and our systems. And bring the focus to small little places and areas where we can support our body and get greater contact with the floor. So last time, as you exhale, see if you can create a feeling of symmetry through your upper back, through the two blades. A feeling of symmetry through the back of the ribs and the waist, and absolutely the two hips and legs. Okay? Now gather your legs up so that your feet are closer to your hips, the sits bones. And without very strict alignment, without very deep, a over precise, if you will, kind of easy loose. We're going to start with that breath and deepen our abdominals to go through our pelvic clock exercise. Okay? Again, remember, any of these groupings I'm going to take you through are shown in small bites through our channel. Almost all of them except for, I think, our spirals. I'll let you know about that one. But we're just going to work through them right now. So I'm going to deepen through my abdominals. And the purpose of this pelvic clock is to identify how my hips are moving today and to create an even action through my hips. But more importantly, I want to get the connection on my internal support so I can release my back. Okay, so a really good pelvic clock is going to widen your middle back and it's going to release the back body into the floor. It should feel pretty good, you know. And then I want to keep that connection, and I'm just going to lengthen my hips so the tailbone's longer, and I'm bringing my whole seat to the floor. Okay, again. All right, nice long even hips. Okay, now we're ready for those rotations. So I'm going to spiral over to one side. One hip gets heavier, the other hip gets lighter and comes up out of the floor. And then I come back through the center, distributing my center evenly. Side to center and side to center. As I'm going through material with you now, I can tell my body is adding a little more precision. So it wasn't my intention starting out in the morning, but if it shows up, that's great. So how I'm using my legs to support the movement. Feels like a good pull in the direction I'm going to and a press away. Centering off. Pull the direction I'm going, reaching away. All right. Now one of my favorites, short, long hips. One side of your waist really shortens. It feels like it brings the hip towards the shoulder and the other side opens or extends or elongates, however you like to say that. And then back to center. A couple of times each way. So now I'm moving to the side, but I'm using a different plane of motion. So it's important that I keep my bones facing the ceiling level and flat. And again, I really want to have a good connection of my legs into my center. Last time. Finish with your tighter side. That's the one for me. All right. So you can keep your legs there once you have the balance of your hips and you explored all those movements. The next piece is for our shoulders and our arms. So we're going to want to have a really fabulous back, right? Okay, so I'm going to keep my legs bent today, and I'm going to go ahead and keep those back ribs nice and wide. Now, if my back was to tighten, I'll show you. If I was to tighten my back, the back would narrow and kind of grip, and then it makes it look like I kind of flare out my ribs. So that is really, really not my center. That is me forcing a movement in my back and undoing core support. So that is undesired. That is absolutely not good. So it takes a while. That's kind of my habit. You'll see me kind of work with that in the series because it's not totally natural for me to control my abdominals all the time. But I keep working at it bit by bit, year by year, and now it feels a lot more intuitive. Okay? So we're going to go from here. The arms are going to lengthen up. I would like you to take a second or two and get into long fingers, wrists, elbows, arms, and stretched. And keep your blades really heavy on the ground. All right. So this part of me, my breathing areas and my core areas are going to make the shoulder move. So I'm going to take an inhale. I'm going to exhale and drop my waist deeper in the floor. And then I'm going to glide the top of my shoulder off the mat. Let's see if I can keep the base of my shoulder connected. Okay, once I'm up there, I'm going to turn from my collarbones and I'm going to open my arms out to the two widest wings that I can support today. All right, lowering your arms chest height. From there, I'm going to keep my wings really wide and reach through the elbows. Fingertips delicately going to the top of my head.
Right. Then I'm going to gather the arm deeply into my inner shoulder and bring the elbow up. So I'm muscularly gathering my underarm. I'm finding a rotation in that joint. My elbows come towards my ribs. Tricky movement. I want my elbows to go on the floor, but I can't go forward to do it. So I'm going to have to spread my back wide again. Drop that waistline deeper. And then I'm going to have to find a shoulder blade motion and a height that works for me. So that's pretty good right there today. That's good. It feels like I've got that. And then I'm going to rotate through my arms and finish in my ribs. Okay, good. So now we did top of us and bottom of us. From there, go ahead and bring your legs and feet closely together. And then just curl that waistline again. Keep pressing through the legs. And then extending long. Okay, draw the legs together more into your center and start to take your center side. This time my legs are going with me instead of me stabilizing them as support. So I'm taking a little bit more of the motion into my waist and trunk, greater range. Okay, so turn all the way to your side and find an even side lying place. Okay, with your hand underneath your ribs on this side, take an inhale. Lift your ribs on this side and then exhale, pour them into the mat. Inhale, bring them up. Exhale, pour them into the mat. 2 more times. Good. Now keep your waistline here connected to the mat, okay? The rib cage and the shoulder. Bring your arms in front of you. And this starts out with gliding your shoulder. The shoulder and half of the body glides forward. We're going to take the shoulder all the way around. And instead of my shoulder dropping back, I'm going to turn my center and then mindfully find an open angle that feels good in my shoulder. Okay, so 20 years ago, we called these feel-good arms. I don't know what people are calling them now. I still like to call them feel-good arms. But I want to use the movement to find what is available in my body today. Again, that's what a warm-up, right? Warm-up is circulation, blood flow. I'm kind of using gentle movements. Because if I'm going to work out later, or if I have a big physical day at home with my family, then it's good to know, get all those pieces and parts. Reverse your direction. Right there. Okay, give myself a little more space. You can see that back corner is a little tricky, so I'm going to go towards my hip. Now right there, instead of my shoulder pulling me back, I'm going to turn from my middle and waist. My shoulder needs to find an easy glide. So right about there. There we go. That was smoother. So one thing you're also practicing is coordination in these movements. How do they put themselves together? Okay. So I'm going to show you the second side with my back facing you so you can just see a little more. So my voice will be quiet through that. Starting with the keep the press down. Gliding around. Oh, I'm going to lose you. Here we go. Generate the motion in your spine and find the healthy range of motion through your shoulder. Try to feel like it is not being generated from your fingertips, excessively pulling. Good. All right, now we've done those two things, which are pretty full motions. Definitely lots of spiraling, lots of rotation. Okay, so this is one of my favorites. This is actually for modern dance warm-ups, but it's really handy for a lot of reasons. So these are called X rolls. All right. Again, we'll kind of break this down, and it has got its own separate video because we can put a lot of detail into things to emphasize, you know, to basically educate us. There's a really beautiful natural way to move, and then there's all these things sometimes that get in the way of us moving, well, compensations and stuff. So we want to just kind of focus on keeping it clear and simple. So we're going to lead with our foot. This is really led distally. I use this exercise for clients who are practicing learning sequence. All right. And then also for clients who are very stable and want to improve range of motion. So I'm going to lead through my foot. My leg is going to cross over a full diagonal. I'm going to go ahead and reach for a full diagonal. But again, I want to get there smoothly. So I'm just going to go all the way to my front. Going back the same way. I start with my foot low diagonal. I sequence through my body. It feels so good. All right, so let's do that again. Over and through. I have to really work well through my middle and back. I like that. Okay, other leg. Roll across naturally. Coming back leg. Okay, we did twice. Okay, so the other part where we lead with the arm and shoulder. So if you pick up your fingertips, see if you can use all the joints of your arm as you go through the diagonal. Now I'm kind of lifting up enough that I can smoothly get onto my abdomen. Okay, this is interesting. I need to come back from my arm. So I have to fan this side of me all the way open. Good. Need some space here in the living room. And then this arm goes through the diagonal. Low leg. This arm is going to have to come all the way here for me and fan itself back. Good, let's try the arm and shoulder again. Remember, it's about your back moving really, really well and just economizing your effort. Keep it simple, keep it fluid. Coming back. Good. Now just gather everything in. Make a nice go around action with your back. Flip yourself over to hands and knees. All right, hopefully you're feeling a lot looser and you feel like you're getting your circulation in parts of you, tiny parts of you. Okay, we're gonna finish up our warm up with hands and knees. This is important because we're gonna be bearing weight through the structure of the arm into the hand and the structure of the hip through the leg, and then I have my shin and my ankle. Once you get a good, clear, long, healthy back, breathe. Expand your back ribs and exhale. Connect your abdominals. Make sure you feel like you're not excessively curling your hips or excessively arching your waist. Should feel like you're just exactly doing what you did when you were laying over on your back. Okay? Shift your weight forward and back. Moving in the shoulders and your hips mostly. Good. Now come center. And then to make a small circle action with your rib cage. Change direction. And we're going to stretch our spine by taking our extension. So I'm going to get the arch through the center of my hip structure. I'm going to pull my chest through and find the muscles in my upper back. And then when you round your back, it's the opposite. We want to round through the center of the ribs. So I need to really get my hips underneath me. Nice and round, pressing in your back. A couple times each way. Not the neck, but the chest and the hips. And not the chest now, but the ribs and hips. Good, now stand up onto your feet. The underside of your foot is hugely important because it's going to connect the base of your hips and center to the floor. So as you start to tread through your feet, see if you can open the spaces between your toes and find a good width through your big toe knuckle to the pinky toe, centering your weight in the middle of the toes and ankles and feet. Okay, and then treading is really satisfying because it's very articulate. So you can make that as articulate as you like. I like to go over both ways. And then once you settle, see if you can crease the front of your ankle very well in the middle and see if you can reach through those heels a little more. Walking to your feet. Find a good place where you can put weight in your whole foot and balance into your ankle joint. So you're not falling back and you're not falling forward. You feel like you're right in the middle. I'll show you falling back. That's what I like to do. It's easier for me to do that there. It's a lot harder for me to stay where I need to. Hang your arms. Just do little swings with your body. All right, loose shoulders, loose ribs. And then when you're ready to come up, go from your insides, bring yourself all the way up to standing. And then just take a second, walk around your space just for the last minute or so. Right, gets your feet going a little bit. And then the last part of our warm up is we're just going to kind of check our balance. Okay, so your last part of your warm up today, right, is we're going to just do little heel presses. So I'm going to stay in my center here, and I'm just lifting one heel at a time, but I'm doing it quickly, right? You might see in my living room space, I'm kind of really, there's a little bit of a heavier sound as I hit the wooden floor. Feels good in my bones. And then I'm going to slow it down because we're just going to check our balance today. Right? How's that balance doing? Abdominals need to respond, of course, but I want to distribute the weight of our center, right? Our center needs to go through the hip, through the leg to the foot. So we can't grip our feet and grip our ankles and these things work. Last time, just a little side touch.
Shifting weight, feel how your feet have to be very responsive. Good. Front and back. Whoa. Try the other side. Okay. Hopefully you feel ready for your day. If you did this in the evening, then I think you'll find it pretty relaxing. Again, these are gentle movements. These are typical warm-ups, and they're also exercises we use in our crafting of programs for clients to help teach our clients healthy ways to move their spine, their back, the hips, the shoulders. Okay, hope you like it. Please share it with someone who can benefit. Bye.